If there's one thing I've learned, it's that marriages don't crumble in a single moment. They dissolve slowly, quietly, like a crack in a windshield spreading until the whole thing shatters. But the night, everything finally broke. Yeah, that night started deceptively normal. I got home from work later than usual, still half buried in spreadsheets in my head. My job as a logistics coordinator wasn't glamorous, but it was predictable. And predictability was something I thought kept our marriage steady. I walked into the house expecting the usual sight. TV humming low, Marissa scrolling through her phone, the smell of her favorite lavender candle drifting through the living room. But that night, the house felt different. Too quiet, too still. Then she came down the stairs, hair loosely tied, wearing the denim jacket she only wore when she was going somewhere she wanted to look effortlessly pretty for. Not fancy, just attractive enough for the right pair of eyes. "Hey," she said, grabbing her purse. "I'm heading out with Jenna for dessert. You don't mind, right?" Her smile was too quick, her voice too light. I noticed every detail, because for months she'd been pulling away in tiny, almost invisible ways. I had asked her once, half joking, "You still like going out with me, right?" She laughed it off. "Of course. You're just predictable, Logan. That's all. Predictable." That word had stuck to me like glue. So when she mentioned dessert with her sister, I didn't argue. I just nodded. "Sure. Have fun." She kissed my cheek in a way that felt like she was remembering how to do it, like muscle memory, not affection. And then she hurried out the door. No hesitation, no second glance. I stood in the kitchen afterward, staring at the fridge magnet photos of us from years ago, before her job started demanding late nights, before she became obsessed with fitness classes, before she started guarding her phone like it contained national secrets. I ignored the sinking feeling in my stomach until my phone buzzed. A text from Jenna, her sister. "Logan, are you home? I need to talk to you. It's important." She didn't usually reach out. She especially didn't show up unannounced. But 15 minutes later, I was opening the front door, and Jenna was standing there with a look that told me everything was about to come undone. She stepped inside, wringing her hands, her voice shaking. "Logan, she's not with me." My chest tightened. "What do you mean? She hasn't been with me in weeks. Anytime she says she's with me, she's not." I didn't want to get involved, but "I can't watch her do this to you anymore." "Do what?" That's when the truth finally stepped out from the shadows of suspicion. "She's been seeing someone else," Jenna whispered. And then, as if she were afraid to say the name out loud, she added, "Someone from her gym." Everything inside me went quiet. Not loud, not explosive, just quiet. Jenna reached in her bag with trembling fingers. She left her Apple Watch at my place last week. It synced to her phone. The messages. "Logan, I didn't know what to do." I sat down slowly. "Show me." She hesitated, then unlocked the screen. The messages were long, too comfortable. Flirty emojis, late night plans, "Can't wait to see you again, tonight was amazing," and the one that sliced straight through my ribs. "Wish Logan wasn't home, so I could come over now." My hands went numb. Jenna wiped her eyes. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I tried to talk to her, but she said she deserves excitement. Excitement. Was that what she called it? I leaned back, staring at the floor as the truth crashed over me in pieces, each one cutting differently. It wasn't just betrayal. It was the reality that she had emotionally left me long before she physically did. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't even ask more questions. Instead, a cold strategy began forming in the back of my mind. Not petty, not impulsive, but calculated. Something she'd never see coming. Before I could process anything else, Jenna's phone buzzed. I glanced at the screen. "Marissa, on my way, sis. Save me a seat. Logan thinks I'm with you." Jenna looked at me, horrified. "She thinks I'm lying to you," she said softly. "She thinks you'll never find out." But she was wrong, because at that moment, something inside me hardened. Quiet, sharp, deliberate. "Take a selfie with me," I told Jenna. She blinked. "What? Just do it." She hesitated, but she leaned in. We took a photo, her looking upset, me staring straight into the camera with a calmness that felt unnatural. Then I captioned it before sending it to Marissa. "Your dessert partner is here with me. Lies melt faster than ice cream." I hit send, and that was the moment the real story began. Not her lie, not her cheating, but my revenge. A revenge I'd been too gentle to consider before. But now was the only thing I could think about. The message had barely been delivered 2 minutes when Marissa's typing bubble appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. She was scrambling. Good. For the first time in months, I felt no confusion, no guilt, no maybe I'm overthinking. Just clarity, sharp and cold. But clarity didn't mean chaos. I wasn't going to storm anywhere. I wasn't going to shout or beg or demand explanations. That wasn't who I was. And honestly, she didn't deserve that energy. My plan needed patience, precision, and a kind of quiet strength she'd forgotten I had. Jenna sat on the couch, still processing everything herself. "You okay?" she asked gently. I swallowed. "I'll be fine." It sounded almost believable. My phone buzzed again. Marissa. What is that supposed to mean? So she wasn't denying it. She wasn't confused. She wasn't even asking which dessert place Jenna and I were at. She already knew exactly what she was being confronted with. Another message came immediately. "Why are you with my sister?" Not, "I am with her." Not, "You misunderstood." Not, "It's a joke." Not even, "Where are you?" Just defensive, panicked, cornered. I locked my phone and slid it onto the table. "Logan," Jenna whispered, "I'm scared she's going to twist this on you. She always does." That made me pause. Twist this. Yes, she was good at that. So good that I'd spent months doubting my own instincts because she convinced me I was too suspicious or too dramatic. But this time, she couldn't twist a thing. I exhaled slowly. "I'm planning something," I murmured. Jenna looked alarmed. "Nothing dangerous, right?" "Nothing illegal," I reassured her. "Just something she'll never forget." She bit her lip. "She needs to face consequences, Logan. I love my sister, but she hurt you, and she's been acting reckless for months." I nodded. "I know, but consequences weren't enough. I wanted her to feel what I had felt. Every insecurity, every ignored moment, every night I fell asleep wondering why she didn't touch me the same way she used to. She was going to experience all of it, piece by piece." Instead of responding to her texts, I stood. "I need fresh air," I told Jenna. "Walk with me." She nodded. We stepped outside into the cool evening. The neighborhood was quiet, porch lights glowing soft amber, dogs barking somewhere down the block. The normalcy of it all felt like a joke. Here I was walking calmly, while the life I'd spent 7 years building was turning to dust behind me. But the air steadied me. The silence helped me think. My phone lit up again. "Marissa, can you answer me? You're freaking me out." I almost laughed. She was freaked out. Good. Let the fear set in. Jenna hesitated before speaking. "She'll probably go to his place tonight if she thinks you're mad." "I know," I said quietly. "Do you want to check her location?" "No, because this wasn't the night to chase her. This was the night to let her run. A cheating spouse feels invincible when they think they're outsmarting you. But when you stop reacting, when you stop playing along, they fall apart." On the way back to the house, I told Jenna, "I'm going to act normal when she comes home. You can do that." "I've been doing that already," I said bitterly. Inside again, I cleaned the kitchen, not because it needed it, but because my hands needed something to do. I wiped counters with a calmness that didn't match the storm inside me. And then the door unlocked. Her footsteps froze when she saw Jenna sitting on the couch, and me standing in the kitchen, hands still, eyes steady. "Hey," Marissa said weakly, trying to sound casual, but failing miserably. "What's going on?" I dried my hands on a towel. "Your sister stopped by," I said calmly. "Thought I'd keep her company." Jenna stood up, expression tight. "Marissa, we need to talk." Marissa's eyes flicked between us, calculating, defensive, ready to lie. "What exactly is this?" she snapped. "Why are you both acting weird?" I leaned against the counter. "Where'd you go for dessert?" I asked softly. Her jaw clenched. "I told you, with your sister. I finished for her." "Right." Her voice cracked. "Logan, please don't do this in front of her." "You chose the audience," Jenna cut in coldly. "Not me." Marissa's face drained of color. I walked closer and placed my phone on the coffee table, screen still lit with the photo I'd sent her. "You weren't there," I said quietly, "and I think you know where you really were." She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. That silence. That was the sound of every lie she'd told collapsing at her feet. After several long seconds, I stepped back. "I'm going upstairs," I said. "Sleep wherever you want." And the look on her face, shock mixed with fear, told me my silence screamed louder than any argument ever could. I didn't check on her. I didn't wait for her. I didn't even look her way when she started crying softly downstairs. Instead, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, planning every step of the revenge she had unknowingly activated. She wanted excitement. She wanted danger. She wanted unpredictability. She was about to get all of it, but on my terms, not his, and definitely not hers. Tomorrow would be the beginning of something she wasn't prepared for, and deep down, she knew it. I barely slept that night, not because I was angry. Anger would have been easier. What kept me awake was the realization that Marissa had made choices long before this night, choices that she hid with smiles and half-hearted kisses and busy days and stress, choices that turned me into a placeholder in my own marriage. But lying there in the dim bedroom, listening to the faint creaks of the house and the muffled sniffles downstairs, I understood something important. I didn't want to save the marriage. I wanted to save myself from the version of me she had slowly turned into. When morning crept in through the blinds, I finally got up. I showered, shaved, dressed, and moved with a calmness that didn't match the storm she must have been expecting from me. I didn't slam a door or throw accusations. That would have made it easier for her to turn herself into the victim. No, I was going to let her break herself with silence. I walked downstairs and found her curled up on the couch, makeup smudged, still wearing the clothes she'd gone out in. Her hair was tangled, her eyes swollen. She looked smaller than usual, almost fragile. But fragility wasn't remorse. It was fear of consequences, fear of losing the comfort she thought she was entitled to. "Logan," she whispered, sitting up slowly. I poured myself coffee and leaned against the counter without looking at her. "Morning." She flinched. "Can we talk?" I finally looked at her, but not with softness. She shifted under my stare like it was too much to hold. "Talk about what?" "You know what," she whispered. "Then say it." I replied calmly. "Say whatever it is you've been hiding." She hesitated for too long. She searched for excuses, for an angle, for something she could twist. When she couldn't find one, she tried something else. Tears welled up. Her voice cracked. "I made a mistake." I took a slow sip of my coffee. "One mistake, or months of them." She swallowed hard. "I don't know what you think you saw." "There it is." I cut in softly. "The first lie of the morning." She covered her face with her hands, shaking. "I never meant to hurt you." "That's the second lie." Her shoulders trembled. "I'm serious, Logan." "No," I said, my voice level. "You're scared, and that's different." She lowered her hands and looked at me with desperation. "I can explain everything." "You've already explained enough," I said. "Your sister showed me the messages from your watch. That's all I need." Her eyes widened with betrayal. Not of me, but of Jenna. She had no right. "You had no right to involve anyone else in our marriage," I replied. She pressed her lips together, realizing I wasn't going to argue, wasn't going to give her the emotional scene she was used to winning. That's when she changed tactics. "Logan, I miss us," she whispered. "I miss how we used to be. I've been lonely, and I made stupid choices. But we can fix this, right?" I put my mug down gently. "You should have thought about fixing things before choosing someone else." She stood abruptly and reached for me. "Please, I don't want to lose you." I stepped back. "You already did." Her breath hitched like I'd physically hit her. She sank back onto the couch, knees pulled up, arms wrapped around herself like she was trying to keep her world from falling apart. But she didn't know it had already fallen apart. What was left now was justice, calm, quiet justice. I grabbed my keys. "I'm leaving for a bit." "Where are you going?" she asked quickly, panic lacing her words. "To live my life," I replied. "Something you stopped doing a while ago." She followed me to the doorway. "Logan, please don't do anything stupid." "Oh, I won't," I said without turning around. "I'm done being stupid." I left her standing in the hallway, trembling. Outside, I inhaled deeply. The air felt different, lighter. Even when I got in the car, I didn't feel lost or shaken. I felt awake. The first part of my revenge had already begun, letting her feel the weight of everything she broke. But that wasn't enough. She cheated because she thought I was predictable, boring, safe. She thought she could walk all over me, and I'd still come home to her. She believed I couldn't live without her. So my revenge would target the one thing she valued most, control. I drove to a coworker's place. Harper, a friend I trusted, someone who knew me well enough not to ask too many questions. When she opened the door, her face filled with concern. "Logan, you okay?" "I need a place to stay for a few days," I said simply. She nodded instantly. "You can have a guest room. No questions. No praying." That was why I chose her. I brought nothing from home. Not clothes, not toiletries, not even a jacket. Leaving everything behind would send Marissa a message louder than any argument. After settling in, I texted her 2 simple words. "I'm safe." Nothing more. No location. No explanation. No reassurance. Just a reminder that I wasn't hers to track or control. Her response came seconds later. "Where are you? Please don't shut me out like this. We can talk. We can fix this. I'll do anything." I'll let the message sit unanswered. I spent the day working from Harper's dining table, focusing better than I had in months. Freedom, even temporary, felt like oxygen. In the evening, my phone buzzed again. "Logan, please come home. I'm begging you." I could almost hear the desperation. That was good, but I wasn't done. Because tomorrow, she would discover the next step of my revenge. One that would shake her more than silence ever could. I wasn't aiming to hurt her. I was aiming to wake her up, and she was nowhere near prepared. The next morning, sunlight streamed through Harper's guest room curtains, warm and calm. 2 things my life hadn't felt in far too long. I lay there for a moment, staring at the ceiling, realizing that for the first time in years no one was expecting anything from me. No forced breakfast smiles. No pretending. No walking on eggshells around someone who had already mentally left our marriage. My phone was full of missed calls, voicemails, messages long enough to require scrolling. But I didn't open a single one. Not yet. Revenge wasn't about shouting or shaming someone. Real revenge, quiet, strategic revenge, was about letting the truth do the talking. By mid-morning, I grabbed my jacket and headed out. Harper looked up from her laptop. "You going back?" she asked. "No," I said. "Not yet. I need one more thing to be clear." She nodded, not pressing further. She always knew when silence was an answer. I drove to the house with a steady heartbeat and a mind that felt sharper than it had in months. When I pulled into the driveway, Marissa was already pacing by the living room window, running her hands nervously through her hair, checking her phone, glancing outside every few seconds. The moment she saw my car, she rushed out like she couldn't breathe without seeing me. "Logan," she cried, running down the porch steps. "Thank God, please," I thought. I held up a hand, stopping her a few feet away. "We need to talk inside." She paused, reading my tone, and swallowed hard before stepping back to let me pass. Inside, nothing was moved, but everything felt different, like the home itself knew something had cracked open. She hovered near the dining table, wringing her hands. "I didn't sleep at all," she whispered. "I was worried sick. I thought something happened to you. You just disappeared. Why would you do that to me?" That last part, to me, told me everything. She wasn't devastated by losing me. She was devastated by losing control. I stayed standing, arms crossed. "You disappeared first," I said simply. She flinched like the words hit her physically. "I messed up," she whispered. "But I swear, he meant nothing. It was just attention, excitement, I don't know. I was stupid, Logan. I know that. I know I hurt you, but please, I want to fix this. We can start over." I shook my head softly. Starting over isn't possible when one person keeps repeating the same chapters. She stepped closer, tears streaming now. "I can change. I'll block him. I'll switch gyms. I'll delete everything. I'll do whatever you want." I looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time since this began, I felt nothing. Not anger, not love, not longing, nothing. "You already did whatever you wanted," I said quietly, "and I lived in the consequences." She reached for me. "Please don't leave me." "I'm not leaving you," I replied. "You left us." Her knees nearly buckled as she sank into a chair. That was the moment she understood. Not from shouting, not from accusations, but from the stillness she wasn't used to facing. I placed a white envelope on the table. She stared at it, terrified. "What is that?" "Reality," I said. She opened it with shaking hands. Inside was a printed screenshot. Messages she thought were long gone. Plans she made with him. Laughing about me, not noticing. Promises of next time. Her face crumpled. "Logan, please. I'm filing for separation," I said calmly. She broke. No. Please, Logan. I'll do anything. I'll go to counseling. I'll quit my job. I'll cut everyone off. Just don't give up on me. Her voice cracked until she could barely speak. I didn't yell. I didn't comfort. I didn't bargain. Because a man shouldn't have to beg to be chosen. I'm not punishing you, I said. I'm freeing myself. She sobbed into her hands. I don't want to lose you. You already did, I whispered. The moment I had to compete with someone who didn't care about us. She reached for me again, but I stepped back. I'm staying somewhere else for now, I said. You can stay here until we figure out the next steps. Logan, she cried, breaking completely. I turned toward the door. Take care of yourself, Marissa. She collapsed in a chair, crying so hard she could barely breathe, but I kept walking. Outside, the air felt cleaner, lighter, like stepping out of a long, dark tunnel. My revenge hadn't been dramatic. It hadn't been loud. It hadn't destroyed anything, except her illusion that I would always be there, no matter what she did, and walking away with my dignity intact. That was the kind of revenge she never saw coming.